aren't I showing up over here? Refresh. Yeah, there we go. All right, YouTube folks, feel free to skip ahead about a minute here. I'm going to let a few people join in. I just sent out my notifications before I get started. Hey, Master, welcome. And Basic Planes, good luck to you. I hope you do. Why are two of my cards gone? These. Thought I put those back in earlier. I guess I rebooted, so I have to do all of this again. That's unfortunate. Oh well. Alright, good evening, folks. My name is Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, which is a site dedicated purely to Legacy, Death, and Taxes. On this channel, we're usually playing various taxing decks in Legacy, mostly D&T and Red Prison. And I guess this is still Red Prison, but I decided to take a different approach. So I got this deck list from Basic Planes, or you also might know him under his MTGO username, Piroko, what is it, 139? Yeah, 139. I got this deck list from him. He said that he wanted to try making a Red Prison deck that did not have Ensnaring Bridge. And I can understand why. Like, Bridge is your most awkward card. It's not always good in many matchups. Sometimes it's too slow. So he decided, what happens if I get more aggressive? And he's playing Captain Lannery Storm, which is a 2/2 pirate with haste for 3 mana. When it attacks, you get a treasure artifact token that's basically a Lotus Petal. And whenever you sack one of those treasures, it gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. So, essentially, it's an aggressive creature that also gives you mana, and that mana can be cashed in for damage later on. So he came up with this shell that also used Pia Nalar alongside an entire set of Karns and Trinispheres in order to, like, try and make Karn as good as Karn can be. So, like, this has Great Furnaces, Chrome Mox, Chalice of the Void, Captain Lannery Storm, Pia Nalar, Pia and Kira Nalar, that all have an artifact sub-theme to them that can make your Karn tokens absolutely huge. And so I thought it was a really intriguing idea. I wasn't really sure whether or not, like, cutting the Goblin Rabblemaster was correct. And I did some brewing, we sent a couple of deck lists back and forth, and finally I was like, well, what if we just, like, skimp on the 4-drops? What if we build this deck to be as aggressive on curve as we can get? So I decided, like, what happens if we play Moon and Magus and Captain Lannery Storm and Rabblemaster and the Trinispheres and throw in a couple of Scavenged Clan Berserkers just for good measure? So a lot of the prison elements of Red Prison are gone, in that, like, we lost the Ensnaring Bridge, and we don't have those main deck Chandras to hide behind. So now this is, like, a super aggressive, let's close out the game as quickly as we possibly can deck. So Magma Jet helps to eliminate idiots on the other side to force all of our creatures through, and helps to sort of smooth out draws, you know, because we don't really have a lot of selection, and we lost some of the selection we had in the form of the Chandras. So this is an experiment. I don't know whether or not this is going to work, but, like, every time I played a Trinisphere on stream, my first thought is always, like, God, I need to play more Trinispheres. Like, the card's so good. So this is my, like, red, let's get them dead deck list. I don't know that this is good, but I think this is worth trying out. Now I'll start with the sideboard, because it's spicy, jank, whatever you want to call it. So let's look at this. Alright, fairies, that's stock. Everything else is kind of new. For the control matchups, I want to have Planeswalkers And so I think this is still an important part of the deck list, even if it's not in the main deck. I'm still, like, running another Scab Clan in the sideboard because the card's stupid against combo decks. And then everything else is kind of new. Dead Gone has 2 modes. The Dead mode is for matchups like Delver and D&T, where you just want to kill a creature. And the Gone mode is for things like Reanimator and Merit Lodge tokens. Without Ensnaring Bridge, sometimes we're going to be at the mercy of, like, big, stupid creatures. And so Blinding Soul Leader was a suggestion from a Dragon Stompy player for how to go and deal with that. So this is something, again, that can go in blank things like Merit Lodge and Grizzlebrands. Because Grizzlebrand is a problem against Goblin Rabblemaster very specifically. Jitte's for the fair creature-based matchups, and I suppose things like Delver as well. And we're playing Revoker over Sorcerous Spyglass because this deck is getting way more aggressive and cares about the damage. An absolute ton. So again, this is experimental. I don't know if it's good, but the core of the shell is so good that I think it's worth playing around with. I guess while I'm here, 2 things. One, I posted in the D&T Facebook group about a D&T meetup at SCGCon. I think my current plan is we want to meet up after the 3 p.m. Legacy Challenge ends and just kind of like meet up there, chat a bit, and then maybe like go out to dinner depending on how many of us there are. They'll kind of dictate where we can relocate to. Otherwise, I also want to thank Raymond V. He donated a sizable chunk. He wanted to see 3 different Stoneblade streams after really enjoying the previous one. So I've picked a handful of Stoneblade lists of various natures that I like. So over the next 2 to 3 weeks, expect to see some Stoneblade streams. But for now, let's fight. Of note, I'm not keeping records for this today because this is an experimental build. I'm just gonna, like, play it and see how it feels, and if it feels like this has legs, then I'll start keeping records. Alright, so I think my opponent plays Delver. My hand is lacking in mana. That's not where I want to be against Delver. Like, I can make literally no play with my hand. This is a turn 1 Blood Moon hand. That is a keep. I'm going to bottom that, because if my turn 1 Blood Moon or turn 1 Trinisphere resolves, whichever one I decide I want to do, this isn't where I want to be. I want a 3rd land. And I am actually going to think about that, because turn 1 Trinisphere means that I'll get to resolve Blood Moon on turn 2. In addition, that's probably better. Alright, opponent had the force. That's fine. Oh man, come on. Force and Daze on a mull to 6? That's super unfortunate for me. Come on! I'm really hoping to draw a land so that I don't have to tap this Ancient Tomb to try to Magma Jet the Delver. Opponent did not shuffle. Trinisphere and Blood Moon. I don't want the Trinisphere. If I Moon on my turn, that'll put me to 5, the Deathrite Shaman puts me to 4, the Deathrite Shaman attacks me again to 3, and then I can Magma Jet the Deathrite Shaman. That's actually probably good enough. My opponent has another threat. I'm in trouble. But I think this gives me the best... Yeah, okay. That will also do it. Jeez, yeah. Kozilek's return being colorless matters for two big reasons. The first being that one, Chromox. The second being Mother of Runes. Okay, now I don't think I can win. I mean, opponent had triple counterspell opener on a multi-6. I wasn't going to beat that, that's fine. Alright, so I probably want Dead Gone and Jitte's Blinding Soul Eater is a consideration, but, like, since most of the stuff Delver is doing is going to hit you for, like, 2 damage, it's not the greatest. I mean, most of my stuff's really good against Delver, so I don't think I'm going to board much. Rabble Master isn't the greatest here in the face of Deathrite Shaman. Same to Scabland Berserker, though. But that one's really good if it works. Let's try that. Yeah, Rick's little TV. That's the sort of thing you do once, right? Like, you mess that up once, and then, like, so be it. It's done. Alright, this is turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Trinisphere, turn 3 Blood Moon, probably. Kind of depends on what my opponent does, whether, like, which play I want to take on turn 2. I think it's very close between Moon and Trinisphere here. I'm gonna Moon because if I draw a Magma Jet or a Chrome Mox, I kind of would like to play that. Well, that's pretty good. This time Alternasphere. How is my opponent, like, drawing so hot after, like, mulligan and double mulligan? That is the second game in a row they have produced triple counterspell after mulligans. That is frustrating. I'm going to go for Jitte this turn, because if I get Jitte counters on Magus, that means Magus is no longer susceptible to Lightning Bolt. Assuming this Chalice, like, somehow dies. And this also protects it from, like, Upgrade for damage. And this just ends the game. So for anyone not familiar with why that ends the game, when Magus of the Moon is in play, the only thing that can deal, like, the only threat they can cast is Young Pyromancer at like, red. So once you have a Chalice on 2 and a Moon, like, that's just game over. This is a turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Moonman sort of thing. Although there is some world where I just, like, dead a threat right here instead of Chalice on 1. Alright, so if I go land... This is interesting. I can go land, Chrome Mox, pitch Dead Gone, cast Chalice on 1, cast Moonman next turn. Or I can slow everything down so that I can use the dead. My opponent kept 7. They probably have 3 counterspells. I'm gonna play this slow. Alright, which side is dead? Dead kills. Alright, well there's the first of 3 counterspells. I did not want to imprint the Magus of the Moon in order to do that, by the way. The situation where I was in was kind of like Chrome Mox Dead Gone and go for Chalice, or just like wait till I draw another red card here. Blood Moon's a fair name. It is a 4-of that I probably couldn't have cast on turn 1. Oh, congrats on your 5-0. We'll see if they're willing to sacrifice his Death Ray Shaman to flashback the Cabal Therapy and nug one of my cards. They're not. Yeah, I thought the deck list had promised basic planes. I thought it was good. Alright, so do I just like go for Chalice and not play around a Daze? My opponent's scared of Blood Moon. Let's see if my opponent has a second Daze. No, they have Force of Will. That's fine. Oh yeah, this build would be so incredibly favored in the mirror, it's not even funny. Like, in the mirror, the other version just has, like, such a low density of spells that it'd be difficult to just beat. And the creatures are so aggressive. Yeah. So maybe there was an argument for imprinting Magus of the Moon under Chrome Mox last turn, just in case my opponent words flashback Cabal Therapy just like they did. Then they would have taken the Jitte instead. So anyone curious why I just did that? It's for Karn. If I get a Karn in play and I get to minus that sucker, the tokens are going to be stupid big. Alright. So as it stands now, my opponent gets to cat... Oh, never mind. I almost want to hold this land, honestly. If I hold this and I draw a Karn, I can just cast it no matter what. But if I play this, I can play my Jitte around a Spell Pierce. I probably would have held that land if I was my opponent. I love this Simian Spirit Guide. He's like a crazy huge threat right now. Oh, is this hard cast a Force of Will on a Simian Spirit Guide? Because that's gas. You're just gonna... Okay, so this is like a Daze that will just deal 2 damage, I see. Those 3-mana ponders feel pretty darn bad. And opponent shuffled with the ponder. And to protect my life total, I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. My opponent has 1 card in hand. If they Lightning Bolt this Spirit Guide, and that's their turn, I'm fine with that. I have a pretty high density of threat and lock pieces left in the deck, so I'm a-okay with, like, basically anything they can draw here. A True Name Nemesis would be annoying. I have a hard time getting through that card, but otherwise, life's good. Oh man, and this just gets to resolve because of Trinisphere. Easy. Alright, so basic planes went 5-0 with this build. I'm currently 1-0 with this build. Together, we are 6-0. Deck list is sweet. Not 100% sold on, like, everything I'm doing, but I'm very convinced that what I am doing is conceptually sound. Whether or not it's better than other builds, I don't know, but in the world where the lock pieces are taking over the games, winning the game more quickly is giving our opponent fewer chances to draw to their slim outs. So, like, I can see what I'm doing being good. Looks cool. I would hate to play against it, though. Yeah, that sounds accurate. Oh man, my hand is amazing. Holy cow. Are you gonna chalice on 1? Oh, it's the mirror. Guess who is really well suited to win the mirror? It's Phil! I'm gonna cast this chalice on 0. Just to keep my opponent from playing any artifact mana if they didn't play it out on turn 1. I don't really need my mana right now, so I think I'm just gonna, like, cash this in while the getting's good. gonna bottom the mountain. The Magus of the Moon is a creature. That alone makes it worth consideration. What do I want to draw over Magus? I'd rather draw Rabble, Berserker, Karn over it. That's acceptable, but I will bottom it. Let's try to get to the good stuff. Alright, that's a little annoying. Put the Chromox on bottom. I will now accept the Magus as a body. I just need my opponent to not have like a follow-up like play like Chandra. That'll be hard to beat. Bridge is annoying. How am I gonna beat that? I'm not. So my opponent's Trinisphere might keep some cards stuck in their hand. We'll see. I mean, there's a pirate on screen. Is that not experimental? So I don't have Fiery Confluence as an out to this, but I don't want my opponent to know that, so that's why I'm not conceding. But I'm pretty dead here. This is the real Pirate Stompy. Okay, so opponent was probably thinking about whether or not they wanted to do something crazy like Chalice on 3. Yeah, that's right. You do get the synergy now. Okay, what was the card in exile? It was Goblin Rabble Master. So I want to get this Chalice on 4, if at all possible. Okay, so if I minus this, I just get Rabble Master, and then if my opponent ever gets a card stuck in their hand for any reason, I can get there with, like, the giant Goblin Army I'll build. Yeah, it's not as crazy as it first looks. Alright, Magma Jet can scry me towards lands. Whoops. I forgot about that. Alright, that's on me. Doesn't really matter, though. Alright, I do have a land in exile. Alright, so Magma Jet is dead due to the Chalice on 2. Guess I'll play my own Magus. Yes, we're probably dead, but I can't concede to let my opponent know that I don't have Fiery Confluence. Like, that's super important information. Yeah, so like my thought that a Braid in the main deck was reasonable over Magma Jet is maybe backed up by something like this. Well, the scrying of Magma Jet is not irrelevant, right? All right, I'm more bored than I care about the percentage points at this point. I give. All right, so for the mirror, Evoker on Chandra is good. The Chandra itself is fine, and I'm just gonna like plan on getting super aggressive in comparison to my opponent. So I can probably, well, actually Magma Jet probably stays because I have so many other bad cards. Like, the Chalice is terrible, and the Moons are terrible, so let's cut those first. Might even, like, consider these. This isn't out of the question either. Like, Trinisphere on the play is okay. Like, Dead Gone can answer Rabblemaster and Magus and Scab Clan if it's not renowned. I kind of like my Trinispheres, though, because my opponent is the bridge deck, and if I text them with Trinisphere, that, like, lets my aggro plan keep going. I don't know about this Blinding Soul Eater. I guess it's fine if my opponent makes, like, Karn tokens of their own. What is that thing that is not icy? It is Blinding Soul Eater. It is a 1/3 for 3 mana. You can pay Phyrexian white to tap target creature. I think I'm just going to play one of those. This hand really needs another mana to get going. Oh, jeez. This hand's unplayable. And this hand's bad. Sorry, there's something weird outside my window. I need to see what this is. Alright, it's dark outside. I can't tell. Is my opponent just gonna, like, turn one Chandra? Because I will just be cold to that. Hazaret. Oh boy. This is a situation where Blinding Soul Eater would be okay. All that goes to the bottom. I'm going to play Rabblemaster now to maximize my damage over time, because the captain has haste. And I do have a real chance of being able to go and race my opponent. Not a big chance, but a chance. I also don't know that my opponent was supposed to go and, like, play that land. I feel like they should have just discarded it. Okay, so how do I win? My opponent is going to discard to Hazaret twice. That effectively puts me at 4, so I'm going to need to chump block Hazaret, which means I need to Karn minus this turn, create a chump blocker. Just holding back the Hazoret. Okay. So what if I play second Rabblemaster here and just, like, jam? I might get there. I might be able to just, like, aggro out my opponent. So I minus Karn, create another construct, play a Goblin Rabblemaster, attack in with everything. My opponent's gonna take a shit ton of damage. Kill one Rabblemaster. I am in. Oh no! Oh god, I wanted to attack with that construct. I missed 2 damage. I thought I hit attack all. Oh, that's so relevant. That's so relevant. Like, luckily I've still got lethal, but, like, that mattered so much. That was such a huge punt. Wow. Alright, so the aggression of my build shined through there. Now that I know my opponent has that, I am on board with putting in the other Blinding Soul Eater. I guess on the draw, these transfers lose value. So I'll bring in my Dead Gons, and I guess keep in 1 transfer. I'm going to keep this. On the bottom of that, I'm looking for a Soul Land. Like, a Soul Land would mean, like, turn 2 Rabblemaster into turn 3 Planeswalker into turn 4 Planeswalker into turn 5 Planeswalker. Fuck me. Oh, God. No. No. Alright, so I can produce a turn 2 Rabblemaster. That's still pretty good. If I draw a Soul Land, it's a turn 2 Chandra. It's very possible that my opponent's Trinisphere is going to mess with them a lot this game. I really think my opponent should have boarded their Chalices out. They're very poor in this matchup. Like, they happen to be shutting off my Magma Jet, but they're shutting off my Magma Jet and Revokers, so they're shutting off 6 cards in my deck. That also cost them 4 life. Now they're at 3. Oof. This is fine, right? All I have to do is get to 4 mana plus Chandra and the game is over. And my opponent also only has 2 mana, effectively, because these can't be tapped. No, there's a Chalice on 2 as well. Alright, so my opponent just got to exile a Spirit Guide this turn. That's fine. Opponent's still in there, giving it the good old college try. The red Prison Mirror is pretty awful because in most games there's only one card, like 1 or 2 cards that matter. In the normal builds, you're just playing like Chandras and Fiery Confluences that matter, and most of the rest of the deck is bad, unless you're playing Karn. I'm gonna take a minute and step outside and like see if there's some animal pecking at my door. I'm getting some weird sounds. I'll be back in just a minute, chat. In the meantime, I'm gonna let you take a look at this deck list because it is baller. Alright, sorry about the delay, folks. I couldn't figure out what on earth that was. For those of you that have joined in recently, hello, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University. Normally we stream various hateful decks on this channel. Usually things like Red Prison and D&T, although I've been known to play a handful of silly and ridiculous decks. Tonight we're playing the real Pirate Stompy deck. Sort of a red prison deck, but it's lighter than on the prison elements than normal, and it's much more aggressive, with Captain Lannery Storm, Goblin Rabblemaster, and Scab Clan Berserker in the main deck as haste threats, as well as a full playset of Karns, so that we can Karn minus all day. Hey Palladion, welcome! You want a 4th Lannery Storm in the deck? I don't know that I want a 4th of a legendary threat, but it is very good with Karn. So collectively, Basic Plains and I are now 7-0 with this deck. I've got some catching up to do. He's 5-0. I'm only 2-0. Wow, it's so weird that you've been here this many times. Huh. Neat. Best deck in the format? I don't know about best deck in the format, but like red prison, like stock red prison is like probably the second or third best deck in the format. Like Grixis Delver's the best, like nobody questions that. But red prison is like probably number 2 or 3. Like top 5 right now are probably like Delver, red prison, like Turbo Depths, Pile, and then like slot 5's kind of in contention. Alright, Chad, I'm in the queue forever here. If you have any questions, throw them out there. Give me something to talk about while I wait. How's Monster going? Monster is an amazing show. I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm 20 or so episodes in. It is a very good sort of like realistic drama with a very interesting protagonist and antagonist. The show's like 70 episodes long, so like I still have a long way to go, but I do not regret starting to watch it. Kari Zev. Let me look at that up. Kari Zev. I've looked this up before. Oh, that's the one that makes the monkey. I don't know how much I like that. Because there's other options like Hanawar Garrison that I'm keeping this hand no matter what. I'm not quite sure where I'm doing it. There's other options like Hanawar Garrison that can continue to create creatures over time that I think is better than that. Okay, so I have like all the plays in the world this turn. I can turn 1 Chalice, I can turn 1 Trinisphere, I can turn 1 Captain Lannery Storm. I think I want to turn 1 Trinisphere. It's just so good, like not knowing what my opponent is playing. Pierce. Oh, I love Scab Clan Berserker. That card is amazing. I've been playing it as a 4 of in the sideboard. I've been very impressed with that card. I'm not going to take a chance and die. There are, like, other higher upside plays other than this turn. But if my opponent just, like, has it, I don't want to die. Ignore all the life totals. Alright, we're going to play out the card that's a 4-turn clock first, and then we're going to have awesome follow-up. We do need to watch out for Invigorates, though. A pair of Invigorates means I'm dead. Wow, this is insane. So I can go... Oh, this is so good. This is so good. Holy cow. So I'm going to create a treasure token when this attacks, and then I'm going to get to play my Karn and minus. Mmm. Alright, so my opponent's at 9. And next turn, I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 coming in. How is Elves in this meta? Elves is a fine deck. It's rarely, like, super bad in any capacity. But I don't know that Elves is particularly well positioned. But I'm no Julian, so... Julian is crushing it with Elves. So, like, a high-level Elves player can do amazing things right now. So, we just, like, are so aggressive. Like, it's just crazy how much damage potential this deck has. Like, we raced Infect there. These are the cards I'm thinking about. I would even consider Chandra as a removal spell, although it's very slow, so I probably don't want to play that. Alright, how do I want to board? What's bad? Honestly, most of my deck's pretty good. I could see just, like, dropping the most expensive cards and just, like, getting my curve lower to the ground. I could also see trimming some of the Blood Moon stuff. Because, like, Trinisphere is probably a better 8 card than Blood Moon in many ways in this matchup. Although Blood Moon does shut off Inkmoth Nexus. I don't think I'm overboarding. I think I want to keep, like, all my threats in order to just, like, get them dead. Because I can't just, like, soft lock them out. I kind of need to kill them. Why cut Magus over Moon? They don't have that much removal. Right? Like, there's going to be, like, 1 Dismember, maybe? Unless they're playing, like, the Swords to Plowshares sideboard version. But that's pretty rare these days. I want to submit like this. I'm kind of unsure. I'm going to keep this. So I'm going to go land, Chrome Mox, imprint something, and then play either Lannery Storm or Scabclan Berserker on 1, and then plan on locking this game up with Jitte later on. So I'm legitimately unsure whether I'm supposed to Lannery Storm or Scabclan Berserker. If I Lannery Storm, it will make it easier to get a Jitte in play and connect with it, so that's probably what I should do. But Scabclan Berserker on turn 1 is kind of nutty. I think it's just Lannery Storm. I only get to do one of them, though. Okay, wait, maybe the treasure tokens don't matter, right? So I go land, Chrome Mox. Next turn I have 2 mana, I go up to 3 mana, I can cast Jitte and then equip the following turn, and Lannery Storm's token won't be around, so I can't, like, just equip on turn 2 in. Yeah, so I Scabclan. This would be a rough days or force. Oh, mad respect for my opponent here. My opponent forced pitching Daze out of fear of a Spirit Guide. That is a heads-up play. Ah, shit. That's real good. Unfortunately, I have this Jitte here that's more of a big deal. The Viridian Corruptor was so good, too, because it kept me from, like, playing the follow-up Scab Clan Berserker this turn and getting that active. And then if I ripped a land, I would have had, like, Jete equip, go, win. How do I want to do this? I can play Scab Clan and get Renowned. Or I can just play Rabble Master since it's the quicker clock. I think I just want to play Rabble Master. Oh, you think I jam the Scab Clan? Okay, I could see jamming the Scab Clan because it will turn into a 3/3 this turn. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So I have a couple choices here. I can just, like, go for the Jete equip. I can just dead the Corruptor. Oh, this is such an interesting spot. If I do the Jete play, it doesn't beat Stifle, which is rare. If I do the Dead play, it doesn't beat Spell Pierce, which I know my opponent has in their deck. Either one of the plays doesn't beat an Invigorate. I don't think my opponent's going to have removal. I'm going to go for the Jete play. Croson Grip. Okay. Alright, so if opponent draws an Invigorate this turn, I'm going to die. I guess a Berserk would do it too. It's not game yet. My opponent has to have something else. Okay. So I don't think my opponent has Invigorate because I'd be dead. I don't think they have the Blossoming Defense because I'd be dead. I don't think they have anything that alters their creature's power or toughness. So I think I just dead this. And we'll see if I die to, like, crop rotation for Inkmoth Nexus. Yep. So close. So close. I mean, like, that's part of, like, being a higher level player, right? Is, like, you figure out the exact, like, singular weird scenarios that can kill you, and then you start talking about them, and then they happen sometimes. Chalice on 1. Keep. This sounds so good. Like, I get to attempt Chalice on 1 on turn 1. If it fails, I get to attempt Chalice on 1 on turn 2. And I have, like, a removal spell and a threat. This is so good. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder, like, if I'm actually onto something with this deck list I threw together. It just feels so good. It's just so smooth. It does have less of an end game. So like, if I get paired against something like Check Pile, I'll probably feel cards like Toxic Deluge and Abrupt Decay much, much more than I would normally. Unsure. Alright, opponent has a force. What do they pitch? Force, pitch, force, force, pitch, force. Fire. Getting the chips, Jonesy. That's fine. I think it's worth it to limit my opponent's ability to interact with me via mana at this point. That's fine. That was a mana efficiency play. Lol. I have so much murder power. This deck's so fun. Alright. This deck list currently is up to 8-0 in matches. Red deck wins. Yeah, basically, right? Like we're just on an absolute murder rampage with this deck. We're just getting people dead. No messing around. Sorry, one sec, chat. Trying to coordinate some plans. This is actually kind of like a legacy version of standard red deck wins. Yeah, like, I didn't watch any of the standard Pro Tour thingy, but I heard that, like, Goblin Chain Whirler was just obliterating people everywhere. So, like, I get it. Burninating the countryside. I'm gonna keep this. It has a turn 2 Blood Moon. I think my opponent's a Delver player, if memory serves. Yeah, if my opponent, like, leads on a Delver and I, like, resolve Blood Moon into, like, Magma Jet 2 Idiots, that's gonna feel so good. There were more Chain Whirlers in that top 8 than Deathrite Shamans in the average Legacy top 8. Oh. Wow. I've been wanting to play Goblin Chain Whirler in Legacy. I don't know if I've talked about that on stream yet, but I've looked at that card and I've thought, wow, that card is stupid. So I'm not surprised to see that in, like, a less powerful format like Standard, that it's just, like, wrecking people. $28 out of 32 Chain Whirlers. That really says something. Okay, so, like, when I evaluate... Ooh, baby. Do I want to, like... Oh, this is so weird. Is it worth, like, imprinting a Magma Jet in order to play a Magma Jet on turn 1? Because if I do that, then I can turn to... I can also just, like, go for broke and try to Blood Moon right now. No, I didn't give up on D&T. I think I got, like, a 4-1 with D&T a day or two ago. This deck is just super fun. I'm going to cast a Scrum Mox, see if they want to daze it for some reason. They don't. I'm going for it. No fear. Oh, it worked. I get some information about what my opponent has going on over there, maybe. Insane. Insane. Alright, my opponent's just done with my crap. Whiteboarded mountain non-matching art from 3 different languages, ready to kill some people. Your username killing form seems very appropriate. Alright. So Jitte in, Soul Eater in, this guy in. Fear is for scared people. Oh, that's good. That's really good. I enjoy that. All right. So in previous versions, I've boarded out my Rabble Masters. I could also see like trimming Karn. That leaves me with 15, effectively 17 creatures. Spirit Guides count as like half creatures. This is probably fine. So I will be playing D&T at the Duel for Duels at SCG next weekend. So if that tells you anything about my thoughts on the deck, it's that. Like, yes, I love playing this deck. I love streaming with this deck, but like, when it's for realsies time, D&T is the deck that I play. D&T is the deck that I will pretty much always play. Killing form. That is some high level trolling right there. So I think I want to play a Chrome Mox this turn and imprint one of my cards so that I can have Magma Jet up if they play a threat on their turn. And I think the captain goes here. It'll be awkward if they, like, abrade my Chrome Mox or something like that, but, like, if that's the best thing they got going on, that's fine. I don't think I want to, like, double down on cards and, like, Chrome Mox the Magma Jet as well to try Blood Moon or Trinisphere this turn. Like, my opponent... I just don't think I get anywhere productive doing that. Then on my next turn, I can Blood Moon or Trinisphere, and then have the other as follow-up. Like, both of these 2 cards are just too good to throw away. Which one of these do I want to resolve more? Because I should probably cast it second. I probably want the Moon to resolve more, so I use Trinisphere as the bait. There's that weird scratching sound again that was here earlier. I wonder if it's just a tree bench. It's too close to me. This is a super interesting turn, because if I Great Furnace now, and then cast Blood Moon, my opponent can Wasteland it, but if I don't play this out now, then I can't play around Spell Pierce, and I want to play around Spell Pierce. I'm also not imprinting this on the Chrome Mox so that I can play around Spell Pierce as a surprise. I am such a bully. Oh, that's okay. Opponent saw our hand somewhat earlier on in the game. Something's got to stick sooner or later. I like the look of this. Oh man. I have a Trinisphere. My opponent has 1 land. My opponent has 2 lands. Still cannot make a play. Do I want a Magma Jet end of turn? Not really. I would much rather have this for when they play their first threat. Yes, we are playing against Rug Delver, not Grixis Delver. I braid the Trinisphere, that's fine. Can opponent, like, really have another Spell Pierce? I suppose it's possible. But again, I want to save this Magma Jet. I don't want to use that. So I think I'm going to Chrome Mox, imprint nothing on both, then Karn. And if I minus Karn at that point, I'm creating a 4/4. So it will live through Bolt. But then Karn will die to Bolt. But if I just plus Karn, Karn dies to double Bolt. Alright. Force pitching Spell Snare. A True Name would be kind of annoying. Is it Hooting Mandrills? Hooting Mandrills, okay. This is a little late to the party, but it's gonna resolve. I will consider magma jetting my opponent end of turn now that they have a threat in play. I need to find something pretty quickly. I will just run this out here. That way, if I get a haste creature, I can just go and like play and equip it in the same turn. A second Hooting Mandrills. Well, that's bad for me. So close to making that work. So close. I'm not 100% sure I should be playing Blinding Soul Eater against Rug, because they're likely to have like True Name and Nimble Mongoose that this does very little against. So keeping that in mind, I think I'm going to board that out and just board in 2 more threats and try to close out the game when I'm on the play. So I think I'm going to board in a Scab Clan and a Karn on that logic. Actually, Chandra Minus kills Mongoose. So it'd be reasonable to try that as well. So what does Magma Jet kill? Magma Jet kills Delver, and maybe something weird like Grim Lavamancer, but their other threats are going to be immune to it. So it's possible I pull the Jets and go like super threat heavy and do something like this. Is that crazy? Okay, let's go for the out aggro plan. Let's pull these Magma Jets. So I can board in 4 cards. I could just like put in the Rabble Masters as well and just go like balls to the walls aggro. I think if my opponent wants to play this like super patient counterspell all your stuff game, this is probably pretty good. And more bodies in the deck means that like it's easier to get Jitte active, which will wreck Rug. Alright, what do you think about this hand? This hand has turn 2 Chalice, no other plays, but has a ton of gas. Is this acceptable? With a land in the first 2 draws, this is strong but not insane, but this is the sort of hand that, like, Delver into Daze into Force would just destroy. So am I supposed to get something a little more aggressive than this? Like, I'm not disappointed by this hand. I'm not thrilled by it either. I'm leaning towards keep. I'd rather have gas with no vehicle than a vehicle with no gas. Alright, I'm in for that. So, like, this is a hand where I expect the Chalice to get answered, but we're not... If the Chalice resolves, we probably win. If the Chalice doesn't resolve, then we have so many follow-up plays. Oh. That might just mean opponent has something like a Braid. So I'm not going to take that as, like, the best sign in the world. Yeah. Let's cast a Chrome Mox. I'm going to imprint a Magus. And then we're going to try to jam Blood Moon down their throats. A 4/5 Tarmogoyf, you say? Well, that's not bad. But I have a faster clock. That's fine. I didn't think I had time to play the Trinosphere first. This is going to be really tight. I need to draw a land or a red card this turn to start using Karn. Because if I get land and Karn resolves, then I get to go like Karn minus probably block Tarmogoyf. And then repeat, and my opponent might die. Now I'm probably dead. Do I have any outs? I don't think so. That's unfortunate. Alright. This deck list has taken its first loss. Deck list is currently 8-1. We bleed. That's okay. I don't care if I lose to Rug Delver, because I had Grixis Delver in mind when I was building this deck list, and Grixis Delver is the one that's popular. Like, if we were playing against Grixis Delver, we wouldn't have lost game 2, because my opponent wouldn't have had, like, Hooting Mandrills. They would have played something like Young Pyromancer, and then I would have just Magma Jetted that and not cared. Okay, I guess they wouldn't have, they would potentially have Gurmag Angler. So, like, maybe not, but, like, the density of counter magic that my opponent had is way higher than Grixis Delver. And my opponent needed to counter, like, every spell that they did. Chad, I played against this opponent earlier. Which opponent was this? Was this my Red Prison opponent from earlier? Okay. Well, I like this for the mirror. I'm on the draw. I have 2 super aggressive threats in my hand, and a Karn. Trinisphere. Deal. That draw was insane. The list is currently 8-1. The list is great. Alright, opponent just scooped it up. Deck's good. Indeed. Confirmed pros. Had turn 1 play that was better than opponent's turn 1 play. This one's a mulligan. I can't do anything with this hand. This one's also a mulligan. I can't do anything with this hand either. This hand's terrible. But I can't go down to 4 and reasonably hope to win. I'm hoping to scry a soul land to the top. Well, if I get another land, I'm fine. I can beat a pair of 2/2, or like a pair of 1/1 goblins. I'm going to send my dead to the bottom. I'm going to put my land on top. Rival Master right back at you. Feels like my opponent's just, like, land heavy. Like, they passed with, like, all without using their mana last turn. So their hand might still be a little rough after the mulligans. So now there will be no attack. My opponent... Oh. So does this mean Fiery Confluence? Feels like it means Fiery Confluence. But in case it's not actually Fiery Confluence, I probably should just block. Alright, so I have the threat on an empty board, but my opponent can draw Bridge or Chandra, which will be rough. I think if I minus Karn, it's not going to get to attack anyway. So I'm just going to plus and start looking for a Chandra. I'm not going to play that land. Kept one card in hand, which is a little odd. In before second K return. Nope. Confirmed professional Magic player. Like, if my opponent gets yet another Fiery Confluence, I will just die to it. Neat. How do I want to do this? I think I want a Chandra Plus first. No, I'll just take the damage there. There's a Blinding Soul Eater in exile. I activated both of these, right? Yep. Alright, so I'm naming Chromox here to increase the chances that my opponent has to tap their Ancient Tomb for mana if they, like, cast something big-ish. Magus of the Moon is fine. That does literal nothing. It's in fact good for me. I guess no, I won't cast that card. So now I don't want to cast this. I just want to hold it in hand, and I'm going to minus Karn so that I can Chandra Emblem and then have lethal. Okay. So, Basic Plains played this deck list to a 5-0 finish. I just played this deck list to a 4-1 finish that was very, very narrowly a 5-0. This deck list is great. It's very powerful. It's very aggressive. It loses some of the top end of the normal Red Prison deck, but that might not be a bad thing. Yeah, that was a 4-1. This deck list has a lot of potential. I think I'm going to do... I'm not going to do a write-up on this. I'll just, like, include a discussion of this in my next article that I write on Red Prison. This has a lot of promise. A lot of the experiments that I do on this stream are failed experiments that, like, they're thought experiments that go wrong. But this might be one that goes right. I don't know if there's anything I, like, super want to change. I don't know that I'm 100% sold on this, like, Blinding Soul Eater thing. I kind of want to cut this for something else. Like, I can see wanting to have a Braid in the 75 somewhere, especially since I don't have Fiery Confluence. So, like, maybe I could run... It's also possible that, like, 2 of these could be a Braids in the main deck or something like that. I get that Blinding Soul Eater can patch up some difficult matchups, like Show and Tell and Reanimator that can just go super quickly under our hate, or ignore, like, a Blood Moon portion of our hate. Don't know about this guy, but I like a lot of the rest of what I've got going on here. Yeah, okay, that's fair, Basic Plains. I did get paired against a bunch of, like, Delver-type decks, where this just, like, is awkward or not quite good enough. Maybe you bring it in sort of scenarios, so that's fine. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night here. I will be back tomorrow night at the usual time, probably around 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you enjoyed this content and you want to see more like Red Prison and D&T type content, let me know. I'll probably play D&T tomorrow night, since I played Red Prison today, just, for some variety. And I should probably do like some real D&T games, since I've got a big tournament coming up this weekend. Yeah, killing farm. If you're only missing a couple of cards, might be worth spending some time on the trade floor and patching it up. It feels good. I'll probably run this deck list again sometime this week, or like maybe this deck list plus or minus another card or two. It feels great. All right, but I'm not going to rabble on here for too much longer. I still do have a couple of days of work left, so I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Good night, folks. I hope you enjoyed. I really did. This was a very fun league for me.